All right, so there's been a lot of talk going on as we doing this whole Rock thing, going to WrestleMania, the whole thing, and I guess the Rock here doing his little promo and all his stuff, and he's being the center of attention, and that's bothering some people. That basically he upstaging Roman, and I was like, of course, it's probably a small, minute amount of people, but I was like, but I've heard it on like other people's, podcasts, stuff like that. That I guess Rock is seemingly the overshadowing Roman. But to be honest, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think he is, and I think it's also the plan and sort of what you should have did. Like, okay, so well, one, I think like last week where it was just Rock. I think that's sort of gonna be it. I think they said something about like maybe that now Roman's gonna start being a little bit more involved and stuff. But I was like, it's not a big deal. You got to think it's been pretty much what like 3 weeks of this, and we still got like 3 more weeks until WrestleMania. So I'm like, that's a lot of time to feel and get the point across. Also, Rock is new to this situation. We got Cody and Roman last year, and then we've had sprinkles and hints throughout this whole year. That I'm like, what is there for them to really redo here? It's like basically getting back with like somebody you've been off and on with. You ain't got to start over. Y'all already know each other. So I'm like, the only new person here is The Rock. So guess what? We had to one transition The Rock from being the lovable Rock that everybody does you Sting or whatever, how he does the crowd work, to him being this heel version where it's like he doing the meth head Marys and stuff like that. So like we had to do that transition. We had to get him involved with Cody to where it seems like it's not that he is a threat to Cody and also helping out the bloodline. Um, also too, I'm like because he's new, you want to go ahead and establish him early, and that way when it gets closer to the WrestleMania thing, you have it be with Roman, so it's more impactful because that's the real main event. Like yes, they're gonna have their tag team match, and The Rock is going to be involved in the tag team match and whatever happens else with the Bloodline, but this is really impacting Roman. So I was like, that sort of is the end of it. That is sort of the thing. Um, I was like, I was like, I think also the Rock is sort of just needed to pump in some excitement. I think like for the whole reason that we had this whole thing where the Rock and Roman was going to be the main event, and then it swerved. However that happened, it was sort of needed, especially looking at things now. That if we would have just had Cody and Roman again, yes, everybody it would have been good with it. But I think it would have been back to how, like I've said before, that everybody with that would have really everybody really with that match is really wanting Roman to drop it more than being excited about necessarily the match. And shortening it up is basically that I'm saying the Roman had had the title for so long. He has defended less within this like last year and stuff that people are just ready for him to drop the belt and not have it anymore. More so than being excited about. I like yes, they're excited and happy if Cody can win and all that other stuff. But it's more that it's like thank God somebody just taking it off and then somebody at least legit please. Because if he loses, then who else is that? I think it's that whole thing. So The Rock gives a new amount of energy to it, and also it's not as easy as it might have been before that Cody is going to win this. Like I do think Cody's going to win at WrestleMania, but there's is a bit of like about 30% of me that's like Roman might also win and keep this again. But you get that entry because of The Rock. Um, Also, I just think The Rock is he is a bigger person now. Like he's not wrong in what he's saying about being the wrestling being talked about, wrestling being cool, whatever you want to say with that, it is because of The Rock. He is a big personality. He was going to upstage. He's upstaging everybody, to be honest. Like even if you're over here saying that he just rinse and repeat what he says and stuff, I'm like he's getting all the views, he's getting all the check. I was like getting checked out all the time, constantly. People who aren't into wrestling watching, people who used to watch wrestling sort of coming back in, and I'm like, and also too, let's also not be honest. I'm like, it's not just Roman, but I'm like, he's sort of like, I don't like saying it upstaging because it sounds like he's being like a ball hog with the whole thing. When it's like, no, his presence is that much bigger, and nobody else has really stepped to the plate to be on the Rock's level. Granted, I was like, now I think Roman had his bits in time where he's like, where he made him get acknowledged and stuff like that, but also I was like, I feel like Roman, while I think that's what it's sort of being, where it's like up until that acknowledgement point, I felt like Roman also was like, you got to think that Rock is sort of like the OG. He's I was like he big bro. So I'm like I feel like to a certain extent Roman also was just falling back because now he's the one that has somebody over him kind of thing. It's a it's something to it that it's like will pay off a little bit later that it's like, yeah, he took this back seat and stuff like that. And we'll see later on if like The Rock keeps making plays and making moves that and Roman's like, why would we do that? I ain't call that. And Jimmy's like, oh boy, Rock told me to do it. That's where it's like it start getting played in like that. So I think it's purposely done as well because I think we're doing something longer afterwards as well too with it that makes it the upstaging or whatever. Like yeah, right now Roman's fine with it, but I was like let's see like how like if Roman does like the next 2 weeks where he's the guy and then Rock comes back and just like put like tell like Roman like no like how he used to do solo. So I think it's a multitude of things, but I don't think it's nefarious. I don't think it's uh, purposeful in a or I mean, well, harmful in a way. I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like really like he's getting buried in his own storyline, something like or anything like that. I think him being a heel, we needed to establish him as a heel. I was like, he needed to be a dick also with it being like some of the heel work. Um, it's a long ass time till WrestleMania anyway. Now I think they just wanted to be like, okay, let's get Rock stuff in, and then we'll turn it back up to the main show, the main attraction, going straight into WrestleMania. Um, and I think that's really all of it. So is he upstated Roman? Yes, but I think that just causes the presence of the Rock. Nothing else, nothing more than that. I was like, he's doing it to all of them. To be honest, um, yeah, I was like, that's why he has his own like dedicated time slot with some of this stuff. That's why he's sort of doing the promos onto the side because he can. Also why people feeling like he got double standards and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, because that's just the presence of Rock, and that's how it is. But I feel like they'll turn it up in the next couple of weeks as we get closer to everything and everything started being more settled. But anyway, obviously, if you think that he's upstating Rock, like, why do you think that is so? Or I could be wrong here as well, like that. Maybe there's something I ain't seeing in the whole thing. But anyway, we'll see how these next few weeks go up until WrestleMania. Until then, out.